crust. So now we're about to make, well, first I've diced up the vegetables. So I've diced up some tomato, some onion, some red and green bell pepper. That's right here. And I have a little bit more left because I'm going to make this full pan and see how much that'll be because I may have to make some more. Because, you know, I have a big family. Everybody likes to eat. So we're starting with creating our egg mixture. So you do 3 1/3 tablespoons of the egg replacer mix. Make sure I got that measurement right. Don't get too close to that. You're going to add to that 1/2 cup of milk or cream. So remember I made my raw almond milk, so that's what I'm going to add to it to get our nice frothy egg-like substance. And you whisk that together. Ruby is going to help us whisk it.
And make it carbonaro. So, Daddy making it.
Excuse me.
So,
so you whisk it up until it gets well mixed. I'm not sure if this is actually going to be enough. I may have to make enough for 2 to pour in there. And I was just going to add my dose, my dose strips, but as I meditated upon their consistency, I decided to fry them first. Well, when you saute them just lightly, and I apologize, viewers, I have every pan that I own on my stove. Sometimes when my teenagers wash the dishes, they don't put them away. Not sure what the purpose of that is, but all part of the fun-filled game of raising adolescents. So what I decided, as my daughter smiles behind the camera, so what I decided to do was go ahead and saute the strips a little bit, and that gives them like a crunchiness. And then I'm going to add them to the mixture. No, you're not supposed to do that. So doing that, mixing this, I put some oil in the pan so that none of this sticks. And I'm going to start putting my vegetables in my mixture. Now what they recommend is putting the vegetables in the pan and then pouring the mixture over. But I have done that in the past. I'm not a fan of how it turns out. I'm not going to do it that way again. Go ahead and add the vegetables to the mixture. Mix that all up. Excuse me, baby.
And now
it's going to be pretty thick.
Guys, do you have to?
And then you're going to have to, as with anything, season it. My favorite seasoning in the world, favorite 2 seasonings that I put in almost anything that I prepare are, of course, garlic powder. I'm always really generous with it. And Spike, which if you are cooking vegan foods and you're trying to cut down on your salt intake, even though it has salt in it, it's not a very high amount of salt. So I use Spike in everything. This is what I cook with instead of salt. So put some Spike in it. See that? garlic powder. And the spike too
Yes,
should help to give it a nice color. That's a pleasant color. Now our oil seems to be ready over here. Seems to have gotten hot enough. So we're going to saute a few of our dose flakes in there. Okay, take that out. Go ahead and put that back in the bathroom. Nubia, please don't do that right now. Wait until I tell you that you can. So the dose, y'all, is not pretty when it comes out of its package, okay? It is a sea vegetable, and this is just what it looks like, okay? It's not pretty. But for those of us who grew up eating bacon, the bacon wasn't very pretty either. So it shouldn't throw us off. I'm gonna saute that a little bit. That'll make it crunchy. And then once it's nice and crunchy, I'm gonna crumble it up in this same mixture. Now this is a little thick to me, so I'm gonna add a little bit more almond milk to it. And I am the kind of cook who doesn't always know measurements. So I try to give you guys as many measurements as I can, but one of the things about cooking or food preparation of any kind is that it is spiritual, you know? It is an actual spiritual act. So you have to relax and let yourself be guided by your ori through the process of food preparation. Think about the love that you have for your body and the love that you have for your family or whoever you're preparing the food for, and let that guide you in your food preparation. You shouldn't require a lot of very exact measurements and things like that. So I'm just flipping the dose over while it's sauteing, because you don't want it to get too crumbly. So now it's crunchy, and I can crumble it up once it cools, and I'm going to sprinkle it into the mixture. So let me get my toddler settled. Well, hold on. You may not have to. Go to your room for a second. I'll call you in a minute, okay? Thank you. So I'm going to take the dough out. This is what it looks like once it's sauteed. And it tastes pretty much like bacon. And I am from Columbia, Tennessee, so I grew up eating a whole lot of bacon. So those taste more like bacon than any soy bacon I've ever had. Tastes more like bacon than smoky tempeh, any of that. Those is the best bacon substitute that I've ever had. And then it's better for you than any of those things because it's not processed, you know. It actually exists in nature as opposed to something that's been created in somebody's laboratory somewhere. What's going on, Sasha? Pardon me?
She's sitting on the tool bench.
Nubia, don't sit on the tool bench. So now, to give it that nice smoky flavor, just gonna mix the dough in as well. Okay, if you can't be nice and follow instructions, you don't get to help. You know you're not supposed to be by the stove, and you know you have to wait until I ask you to come, right? Okay. Do you hear me? Stop. Okay, so I have my pan already oiled, and I'm going to pour this in, and it just looks like it's going to be too small. I think I'm going to have to make two to really do what I want it to do. So, filling up the pan now. how it's not filling up? Just on one side. That's not good. So we're going to make another one of that same amount with those same measurements to fill up that other side. And also to make sure that we have enough to eat. I'm going to start back dicing my vegetables and we will be back to you guys shortly.